Hey guys, Brian here. I wanted to take some time today and talk about my new board. This is my new board as of February 2019, and definitely have made a lot of changes, but this was put together by Brian O'Million. I'll include a little link for you to check out his stuff later, but he is the one who made all this happen, made all this fit together, and I absolutely could not be happier with it. But in addition to pedals being organized a little differently and some new ones in the mix, we also have the RJM PBC 6X, which I'll go into here in a little bit. But I'm mainly going to be talking about that today. But before we get into everything, I thought I would go through basic signal flow and what I'm running through. So first thing I'm going into right here is the Goodwood audio interfacer, and this thing really is incredible. I've seen these things floating around forever, and finally I'm like, all right, I need to get one. But it's amazing because, one, everything is organized, where I'm going in, where I'm going out of. There's a master mute switch. You can sum everything to mono if you need to, if you're using 1 amp, or if you don't want your effects in stereo. I want them in stereo today, but has an incredible buffer built in. You can lift the ground if you need to. If you have some nasty hum, you can flip the phase. This thing is truly incredible. So from there, I'm going into my Deep 6 compressor by Walrus Audio. This one has been on my board now for I think 3 to 4 years, and it's simple, which I don't really like my guitar to sound super compressed. Like when I turn it on, I want it to, I don't really want to be able to tell whether or not it's on, but I do like the way it tightens up the highs and lows a little bit. And this is an always on pedal for me, so this is actually not even in one of the loops on the RJM. But going from there into the rest of my dry effects, I'm going into the Sierra Tone Centura. It's a really great clone. I really love that thing. I've seen and heard nothing but great things about him from everyone else, but I really do love it, and it's kind of become like an always on pedal for me. And then my second stage drive is this new full tone full drive. It's apparently the same circuit, same insides as the original 90s ones, but just without the boost. But a friend of mine, Daniel Carson, turned me onto this thing forever ago, and I went away from it for a little bit, but I'm so happy to have it back on my board and in a size that fits. And then my third stage drive is this JHS Ruby Red. It's essentially a Super Bowl with a boost in the mix. I love this pedal. This is it's been my lead gain stage drive. It's also been my always on pedal before. I can't really decide where I want it. It really does do just about everything very well. It does the low gain thing really well in my opinion, but it also rips if you need it to. So right now I'm trying it at the end, and but it doesn't have to stay there, and I'll go into that here in a minute. But and then from there, the ElectroHarmonix Pog 2, I've had this thing forever, and I've actually recently had it modded by Brian O'Million, and he made it MIDI capable, so I'm now able to send MIDI changes to it, which is really, really cool. That thing, it's just a nice tool to have. I don't use it all the time, but sometimes it really comes in handy, and you can do some weird stuff with it, which is fun. And then from there, going into wet effects, the Memory Man. It just sounds like a Memory Man. From there, going into the Strymon Timeline. It's this really rare delay pedal, but for real though, it just sounds great. It's between the digital, the bucket, and the tape, and the reverse. Those are the four I really switch between, but I love it. And then from there, I'm going into this Mercury 7, which is new for me. This thing, I was honestly, when I was watching videos of it and looking at all the reviews and stuff, I was like, I don't know if it's gonna be able to be subtle enough for me. Like, it's cool that it does all the crazy spaceship sounding stuff, but I wanted something that could just sound like a great reverb and without all the craziness. But honestly, it does both so well. It does the subtle thing, and it can also make some crazy sounds. But I love it, and it's actually also MIDI capable, which I love. I love that via TRS, it can cycle between 16 different presets, and I'll go into that in a minute. But yeah, I think those are all the effects. And then from there, everything is, besides the compressor, is going into this new RJM PBC 6X. I cannot say enough about this thing, and I'm still learning it. I know that it can do so much more than what I'm using it for right now, and I'm looking forward to learning more about it in the future. But as of right now, the way that I'm using it in a live setting, it's just been absolutely incredible, and I could not be happier with it. So just a couple of things. I mean, it has a buffer in it, I believe maybe even two. I'll find out for sure, but I know that either way, I'm not losing any signal in this thing. It has a tuner, so you'll see I don't have a tuner on my board. So whenever I'm in a song, I just double click a preset, and it pulls up the tuner. Go back, and I'm back into the song, and it's great. It's a great tuner. I've tested it side by side, the old trusty Boss tuner, and I mean it's dead on. I love it. But I think the big thing about this that's really exciting about this controller is it has the option for loop reordering. So what I mean by that is, if you, like right now I went through my signal chain in the order that I'm using these effects, but they don't have to stay that way. So let's say my clon over here is in loop 2, and then it's the rest of my drives. But let's say I want to use it as like a boost after one of my drives, let's say after the full drive. Well, I can move it into loop 4 without unplugging all this beautiful work that Brian did. I can go into the editor, the Mastermind editor, and I can move around loops. And I mean, you could put the POG last if you wanted to. You could put your delays first if you wanted to. You can do whatever you want, and it really is exciting because I don't know about y'all, but I've ripped apart my board before trying things in different order, trying to land on a sound I wanted, and I mean that's a great thing to do. But to be able to do it now all in the editor and leaving all your stuff intact is truly a game changer, and it's so exciting. I'm really looking forward to diving more into all this and being able to do all that. But as of right now, I love the way everything's flowing, and I mean, I couldn't be happier with it. But I think it'd be cool to show you guys how I use this in a live setting. So, like right now, I just have Holy Ground. It's one of the songs I play, pulled up, and so I want to kind of show you how I use this. You know, right now you're looking at the amount of buttons, and you're like, well, you kind of have more pedals than you do buttons. How does all this work? So, the way that I have this set up is I cycle through the songs over here on this switcher next to the chords. I'll talk about the chords in a minute. And then when I pull up a song, I have the different parts of the song. And then these up here, these are my dry pedals. This accesses my like delays and verb. And this is my MIDI setup. So when I click this, I can cycle through what pedals I have on. Green means it's on. So for like the solo of the song, I'm using the POG and the Ruby Red. And I can save that and go back. And that's how I access everything. So for here, all right, for the verse of this song, what drives do I want on? I want my clone on. So that's where I do it. Save it. It's stored. And then I'm good to go. Same thing here. Access my wet effects. And this is my memory man, my timeline, and the reverb. So we got Mercury 7, timeline. I want those on. And then one thing that I'm doing that I have up here is, like, on this pedal there's not like a favorite switch or something. Not that you need that. You can just bend down and, you know, turn a knob or something. But for me, like, sometimes I need to quickly be able to access like a little bit of a wetter, like more swelly, you know, sound, and if I need to take up space somewhere in a song, or if we're kind of going off the page, I can immediately do that just by pressing this, and you'll see it says Swell. So all that does is it sends a message to the Mercury 7 to, hey, go to that save swell setting, and it does that. Same thing for here. You'll see that the timeline just switched to reverse. Sometimes out of nowhere I want to pull up like a cool reverse traily reverb and a delay setting, and that's what that does. So I mean, honestly, I can do just about anything I need to do in a live setting. But yeah, honestly, it's truly really, really cool. See if I can show you guys an example of how I'm using all this. Here is, unmute it. Here is my signal, I believe, just with the clone on. Oh, and also I'm running through an AC30, a Fender Princeton, and I'm using my Fano GF6 with TV Jones pickups. I was going to try to show y'all, but it's going to be too hard. But so yeah, that's that. Klon, like I said, is almost an always on pedal. And you can hear it without it real quick. Just like a little bit of extra adds. Then so I turn on the timeline and reverb. Let's say I want to change up I just access the MIDI settings. Let's say I want like a little less verb. I can just do that right here. I have pre-assigned settings. Basically, like 1 through 4 is like, it's like 1 is just a little bit of verb. And a little bit more of a trail. So it's great because at any time I can access, you know, I can make changes on the fly, store it here, and move on, and it's really great. Also, I'm not using a POG on this song, but I think it'd be cool to show you. If you look up here, if I want to change a setting for a song and choose a different setting in the POG, I can change that here. So that's really cool, and same thing with the timeline. Go through all my different presets. So, I mean, yeah, I really have no need to touch anything, especially any of these MIDI pedals. Everything I've kind of set it the way I like it, and then assigned a program change to it, and it does it. Absolutely incredible. One last thing I want to touch on is a lot of people have asked, why do you use the quartz? Because truthfully, the RJM can do everything the quartz does, but the only thing it comes down to for me is a personal preference in workflow. I want to be able to change a tempo quickly on the fly. So, you know, as you can see, as I cycle through my songs here, everything is still all synced up, but, you know, let's say we want to change the tempo of this from 72 to something crazy like 89. I'm not going to be able to do that quickly in here, at least not that I know of. So I want to just quickly be able to pull up something, or even if we're doing a song that's not in the set list, I want to be able to quickly tap it in and have all my delays and everything in sync, and then just go from there. That is the only reason. It just makes my workflow a little bit easier in a live setting, and that's just a personal preference thing. But anyways, I think that is it. I'm probably going to cover some more videos on this in the future, but again, I cannot say enough about the new PBC 6X. It's unbelievable. It's going to change the game for controllers. It already has. I mean, they've done that in the past, but they did it again. And I love this thing. And again, a huge shout out to Brian O'Million for an incredible build. You need to check out his stuff. That's it.